Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm Dipayan Ghosh, and today we are going to talk about one of the most searched and most asked, and honestly, most emotionally heavy topic that I get questioned about every single day. Why marriage getting delayed? See, a lot of people come to me with this question, and they are frustrated, they are confused, some of them are worried, some of them are feeling the pressure from family, and most of them just want to know one thing, that where is, like, when it's gonna happen. So today I'm going to answer that, and I'm going to explain why marriage is getting delayed from an astrological point of view, what planets are responsible, what your chart is actually saying, and what you can do about it. Right? So this is going to be very detailed video. So stay with me till the end and let's jump into it. Let's go. Right. So first we talk about delays. I want to explain something that I think most people miss completely. In Vedic astrology, marriage is not just a social event, right? It's not just about finding someone you like and getting married. It's actually seen as a karmic agreement between two souls. Now, what that mean? Your chart has a specific time written in it for when you are actually ready for this agreement. Not when society think you should be ready. Not when your parents think you should be ready. But when your soul is ready. And sometimes the universe deliberately delays this event, not to punish you, but to prepare you, to make sure that when you do get married, you are emotionally ready, financially ready, and mature enough to actually make the relationship work. So the first thing I want to say is, if your marriage is getting delayed, it does not mean something is wrong with you. It means something is being prepared for you, right? Now let me give you the age classification, the actual framework that Vedic astrology uses to classify marriage timing, right? Excuse me. So marriage before 22, right? Marriage before 22. This is considered the very early, and this usually happen when there is a very strong positive influence of Venus or Jupiter on the 7th house. Things just fall into place quickly, right? This is not a negative, but kind of early type. I mean, maybe some people not get too much of matured, but they just get married, right? But sometimes marriage transform you, okay? It based on your spouse. So yeah, it's like we can say 90% it's positive and 10% is like slightly negative, just to make sure that you are not mature enough, because 22 is like, you know, even me, I got graduated from my college when I'm 22. Right? So this is the thing. So now let's say between 23 and 26, I mean between this, right? So this is a normal window. Most standard charts show marriage activating somewhere in this range. This is just a normal thing, all right? There's nothing to say about. Now let's say about 27 and 30. This is what we call late. Saturn or mild difficult influences are starting to come into this picture. And let's say about 31, 31 and 33. This is genuinely a very delay. Saturn and Rahu are involved. The universe is asking for more maturity before allowing the union, right? And if I say about 34 and beyond that, 34 and beyond that, this is ultra pro max delay, and we call it Daniel territory. Not that marriage won't happen, but there is a serious block in the chart that needs to be understood and worked on. Right now, here's like what I want you to remember: a delay is not a punishment. By the time someone gets married after 30, they have usually gone through so much personal growth, so much, self discovery, so much professional establishment, right? That when the marriage finally happens, it is actually more solid and more real than an early marriage would have been. The universe is not being cruel, it's been careful with you. Right, so now let's talk about the seventh house. Right, just make sure I can just bring it a little bit in the center. Right, right. So, where do we actually look in the chart to understand the marriage? The primary place is the seventh house. In Sanskrit, we call it Kalatra Bhava. This is the house of your spouse, your partnership, and your capacity to share your life with someone else. Now, there are few key things that we look at here. Venus, suppose, right? If Venus is sitting here, this is the main planet for love, attraction, intimacy, and especially important in a man's chart, not woman's, because Venus represents wife in Gemini astrology, right? So we're gonna discuss about that later on. But if Venus is weak, I mean, if it's deliberated, what we call debilitated, sorry, not deliberate, debilitated. If it's नीच का है, we say in Hindi. So if this Venus is weak or under pressure, the ability to attract partner gets affected very much, even if it's Venus. So weak planets, cause a lot, no matter if it's Jupiter or Venus, no matter how the good planet is it, right? Now let's talk about Jupiter. So this is the main planet for wisdom, stability, and the husband figure, especially important in a woman's chart, because we see Jupiter as a husband, or sometimes Mars as a husband in Gemini astrology in woman's chart. But okay, Jupiter is considerable. Okay, a strong Jupiter in the chart gives a good and stable spouse. Right? If the Jupiter is exalted, right? Uh, yeah, if Jupiter is exalted, I mean it's a powerful sign. If it's like in the Cancer, right? Jupiter can only exalt in the Cancer. So if it's exalted over here, you can like very lucky with the marriage. I won't say anything. If anything aspects here like Saturn, or weak Rahu, or weak Ketu, it won't affect your seventh house. Do you know why? Because Jupiter is powerful sitting here in the fourth house. Sorry, in the seventh house, in the fourth sign. Of course, in the fourth sign in a Cancer. So it can't affect your marriage, no matter how they give the pressure, because Jupiter is the Guru one. Jupiter is the Guru. No one can affect it until and unless this Jupiter is weak, if it's debilitated. Okay, so this is the thing for the Jupiter. Now let's say for the seventh lord. Okay, the planet that rules your seventh lord. Now what is seventh lord? I actually made a video on that in my channel. You can go and check it out. Seventh lord means whichever sign is sitting over here, you have to see the sign and the lord of that sign. Suppose this is 5, so it's Leo. So the sun, the lord of the Leo is sun. So if sun is sitting over here, then the seventh house lord is sitting over here in the fourth house. Okay, so this is very important. If this planet is sitting on the sixth house, I mean, if sun is sitting in the sixth house, or 8th house, or 12th house, right? Like here, here, and here. That these are what we call difficult houses. because it creates obstacles around the marriage. Either the marriage get delayed, or there can be health related issue for the spouse, like all the things are fixed, all the marriage ceremonies, all the rituals are getting over. Like whenever you want to, put that mangal sutra on your wife, mangal sutra to your wife, to your hone wali wife, your wife, like suddenly get unconscious and fell down. This can happen. All right. So this is a very very frightening, like a nightmare for the one who is going to have this kind of situation. Or maybe not, not only health issues, it can be anything, right? It can be about financial problem, it can be about family problem, or mood swings. All right. So any other affair, love affair somewhere else, so it can happen. Not only health issues, it can be anyone. But the thing is, it will bring the trouble, right? And one more thing that causes delay: eighth lord, right? This is the eighth house, the lord over here. So let's say we have one Aries, right? When the planet that rules the eighth house start influencing the seventh house or seventh lord, what does it mean? Like this is Aries, right? This is Aries, and the ruling planet of Aries is Mars. Suppose Mars is sitting here, it can create hidden troubles or hurdles, right? So suppose if let's say it's 5 here, okay? So if it's 5 here, let's suppose the sun is sitting over here, okay? This is the seventh house lord. I talk about seventh house, but I'm talking about seventh house lord. So suppose sun, the seventh house lord is sitting over here, but your eighth house is aspecting this seventh house, giving drishti. It's gonna bring the trouble in the marriage. Things that are almost ready just don't quite happen. The door is right there, but something is blocking it. This is the only thing when it happens in the marriage. Okay, right. So and sometimes when the seventh house is blocking like this, the person themselves starts unconsciously resisting commitment, not intentionally, but deep inside there is a resistance to fully surrendering to another person, and that resistance also keep the marriage away. Okay. Now, the three main planets that delay marriage. Now let's talk about the three main planetary influences that cause marriage, okay, to be delayed. And I wanted to understand each one separately, because they just, each delay for every different reasons, because they, yeah, I mean each planet influences in a different reasons. Okay. Now let's say the taskmaster, Saturn, all right, most feared planet on our solar system. So let's say Saturn is over here, Saturn, right? Or Saturn is over here, right? And it's giving drishti to your seventh house. Now, Saturn is the number one reason for delayed marriages. If Saturn is influencing your seventh house, or your seventh lord, or Venus anyway, your marriage is going to be time bound, not emotion bound, time bound. Okay. What does that mean? It means that Saturn will not allow the marriage to happen until certain conditions are met. You need to be professionally stable, you need to be emotionally mature, you need to have paid certain karmic dues in your life. Saturn basically says that you are not ready yet. Come back later on. And when you are actually ready, and here's the beautiful thing about Saturn's delay, it's actually good for you. The marriages that happen after Saturn's finally allows them tend to be very stable, very real, and very long lasting because they are built on responsibility and maturity, not just emotion. Okay, so this was for Saturn, right? Now let's talk about Rahu. So I'll just say Ra over here. Ra. If it's in the seventh house or aspecting seventh house, whatever it is. So if Rahu delays marriage, it's in a very different way from Saturn. Rahu creates confusion, illusion, unrealistic expectations, and you might find yourself attracted to people who are unconventional, or you might have such a you might have such a specific idea in your head of what the perfect partner look like that no real person can match it. Rahu makes you chase or smoke image of the perfect relationship, and until that smoke clears, until you start seeing people as they actually are and not as you imagine them to be, the marriage keeps getting delayed. Okay, Rahu also sometimes bring foreign or unconventional connection that feels very intense but never quite convert to commitment. That on and off will or won't it can sorry that on and off will it or won't it energy, that's very Rahu. Okay, so now let's see if you have Mars. Let's say Mars. So if Mars delays marriage through a complete different mechanism, which we call temperament in Vedic astrology. Okay, let me say you another thing which is called like, okay, in Vedic astrology we have something called Manglik Dosh. Okay, and it happens when Mars is placed on first house, second house, fourth house, seventh house, right, eighth house, and 12th house, right, of your birth chart. Now this needs to be checked from your Lagna, from your moon sign, and from Venus to understand how serious it actually is. Okay, Mars in an unrefined state brings aggression, ego, and what I call relationship combustion. The person with Mars influence tends to have a fiery, dominant energy. Okay, and that energy, if not handled properly, keep pushing potential partners away. But here's the thing about Mars. After 28, the energy naturally starts to refine itself. The fire becomes more controlled, the warrior energy becomes protective rather than aggressive, and that's usually when Mars influenced people start finding it easier to commit to a relationship. Or Mars delays marriage until your temperament is refined enough to not destroy the relationship with your own fire. Alright, so this was for planet which are afflicted on your seventh house and all, or like affecting your seventh lord, or giving aspect to your seventh house. So now let's talk about some advanced tools. Darakaraka and Upapada Lagna. I think I have made Upapada Lagna in my video. You can check the like in my channel about Upapada Lagna, how to calculate your Upapada Lagna and all everything I have given. Now, for those who want to go a little deeper into the chart, let me mention you two very important tools. First is Dharakaraka. I just can write it with DK. In Jaimini astrology, the planet that holds the lowest degree in your chart from the sun to Ketu becomes your Darakaraka. And this planet represents the essence of your future spouse. Sorry, not from sun to Ketu, it's sun to Saturn. Sorry. Okay, so if your Darakaraka is the sun, your spouse is likely a strong, authoritative status and conscious person. Alright, okay, let's see an example. Alright, I have this person's chart. You can find this website link, Cosmic Dharma, in the link in the description. I will give it. You can make your horoscope, you can make your chart, you can make all the planets, all the devotional charts, D1, D2, D10, D60, D7, D9, whatever it is. You can make everything. Alright, so Dharakaraka is the lowest degree, right? Now, you see Sun to Saturn, okay? Now see Sun, the lowest degree is 0.05 degree and the Saturn is 0.023 degree. Now you will say, Dipayan, these both are same degrees. How can I know that who is the one? Who is my Dharakaraka? You have to see the point after that. So if it's 23 and 0.5, so of course 0.5 is the lower one. So Sun 0.05 is your Darakaraka, which is sitting on your Mrigashira Nakshatra, on your 12th house. Everything and it's sit on your Gemini, the third number, the third sign. Right? If you see the birth chart over here, you can see that Sun is sitting on third house, 12th house with Jupiter, which is actually something kind of neutral. Jupiter and Sun are like it's good. I mean, not bad actually, but not too much negative. All right. So if your Darakaraka is the Sun, your spouse is likely to be very much strong, authoritative, status conscious person. Okay. Moon, if your Darakaraka is your moon, emotional, nurturing, family oriented. If your Darakaraka is Mars, bold, protective, energetic. If your Darakaraka is Mercury, right? If your Darakaraka is Mercury, right? Intellectual, communicative, but sometimes indecisive, right? If your Darakaraka is Jupiter, wise, moral, supportive, a very good Darakaraka to have. Okay. And if your Darakaraka is Venus, romantic, beautiful, artistic. And if your Darakaraka is Saturn, mature, serious, older or more responsible than you, but duty based connection. And we don't consider these two, Rahu and Ketu, as a shadow planet, as a Darakaraka. Okay. Next, second tool is the Upapada Lagna. Like actually I have done a full detailed video on this separately, so go and check that out. But simply put, the Upapada Lagna tells you about the actual quality of sustenance of your marriage. We look especially at the second house from the Upapada Lagna. So to see whether the marriage has strength to last. Positive planets there like Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, Moon, the marriage is nourished and long lasting. Planets like Rahu, Mars, Ketu, the marriage can face serious challenges or sudden disruptions, even if the 7th house looks positive. Okay, so now let's talk about when will the marriage actually happen. Okay, now most practical question, when when I'll marry, when I'll meet my spouse, when I'll meet my wife. See, in astrology we say no switch, no event. Even if a partner has a perfect promise of marriage, it will not happen until the right planetary period is activates it. That's the switch. So what periods activate marriage? In the Vimshottari Dasha system, look for the main period or sub period of the seventh lord. Sub period of the seventh lord and planet placed in the seventh house or the second lord, because the second lord is family, and when it activates family, events like marriages often happen, sometimes happen. Okay. Now, let's see the seventh house. Okay, so seventh house is Capricorn of this chart. Okay, so seventh house is Capricorn and it's sitting on your own sign, Saturn. Okay, so Capricorn's lord is Saturn and it's sitting on its own sign, and it's retrograded. That's the different thing about Saturn retrograde. Okay, we're not talking about Saturn retrograde. It can bring many challenges, it can give divorce or anything, but in detail I'll not talk about Saturn retrograde because this is not the video to discuss about it. So if so what is the Vimshottari Dasha system tells? So if we go to the Dasha over here and see the Saturn Mahadasha is going on for 19 years, and it started from 2010 and it will end in 2029. And if we scroll down, you can see the Antardasha periods. Saturn already had the Antardasha till 2014. Okay, this is the only thing you can get. Okay, or if this doesn't happen, you can see the Rahu. Okay, if you have missed this period, you can see the Rahu. Okay, now let's say Rahu Mahadasha is coming, it's already gone, so this can happen either. Or second house is the family, you can see the second house lord. Okay, so if the second house lord is 6 Mercury, so sorry 1 2 sorry 5, it's Leo Sun. Okay, so let's say Sun, it can come at 2073, which is impossible of course, because this person born in 1990 and 2073 is like almost about to die. All right, so it won't happen. So Saturn Mahadasha can be the only period where he can marry during this Antardasha periods. Okay, and also the Navamsa chart. Okay, the Navamsa chart, well, you can see all the charts from here, but let's see the Navamsa chart D9. I'll give the website link in the description. Okay, just go and check it out, it's a very good website. So the Navamsa chart, the D9 chart. Okay, so this is also very important. The main period of Navamsa Lagna Lord can trigger marriage. Lagna Lord, you mean 4th house, which is Cancer, the moon, which can trigger the marriage. So if I go to the Dasha system and if I see the Lagna Lord moon, of course it's not gonna do that. Saturn is only gonna do that because it's 2079. The person gonna die. He like born in 1990, so it won't happen. All right. So if let's go to devotional. Yeah. So and then there is a double transit method. Okay. This is very powerful. For the marriage to actually happen, both Jupiter and Saturn need to be simultaneously influencing the 7th house or 7th lord or the Lagna. Jupiter gives divine permission, Saturn gives the physical and legal structure, and when both of this happen at the same time, this is a very genuine marriage window. Okay, just one of them is not enough, you need both. Okay. Okay, so what you can actually do? Remedies. Now let's talk about the remedies. Okay, so and I want you to say something before I get into this. Remedies are not magical tricks. You don't do a remedy then and then a week later someone appears on your door. That's not how it works. That's not. Okay, remedies are about preparing your energy field, clearing karmic blocks, shifting your internal state so that you become more ready, more open for the marriage to happen, right? So here's how it works. If Venus is weak, suppose your Venus is weak, right? On Fridays, avoid non vegetarian food on Fridays. Wear white cloth, offer white flower to God or anywhere. This will strengthen your Venus energy, right? Now, if Saturn is like this, if Saturn is weak, right? If Saturn is weak, um, fast on Saturdays, do charity, give mustard oil, black sesame seeds, or dark colored blankets to people who in need, and serve the elderly. This softens Saturn's strictness. Okay. Now let's say about Mars, right? Mars. Recite Hanuman Chalisa. Hanuman is the only deity for Mars energy, and the Hanuman Chalisa specifically transform the warrior energy from aggression into service and devotion. This is exactly what Mars need to be refined. Mars is Hanuman Chalisa, the only remedy. Sometimes Saturn also, but for Mars only Hanuman Chalisa. Okay. Look, if Saturn is causing delay for marriage, that is different thing. But if your Sadesati is going on, you can recite Hanuman Chalisa, because there is a story behind Saturn and Hanuman. Of course, when Hanuman came to like take Saturn from Lanka's from Ravan's Lanka, so then then Saturn gave a boon to Hanuman that whoever uh, you know worship you, I will not give the drishti or aspect to their birth charts, right? So this is a boon to Hanuman, so it also work with Saturn. Okay. Now for Upapada Lagna issues, okay, if it's not on your the desired houses like 8th or 6th or opposite sign of your 12th, so for this worship the deity connected to the sign of your Upapada Lagna. If it's Virgo or Gemini, Lord Vishnu. If it's Aries or Scorpio, Hanuman. If it's Taurus or Libra, Goddess Lakshmi. Alright. And for every severe cases of Manglik Dosha, there are rituals called Kumbh Vivah. This is a symbolic marriage to a pot. It sounds unusual, but the idea is that the negative energy of a marriage is gets absorbed by the symbolic ritual, so that actual human marriage remains protected. Now, the most important thing I want to say about remedies is this: remedies only work when you are also working on yourself, right? If you are doing the same mantra but still behaving in ways that push people away, mantra cannot override your behavior. You have to change both, the internal and external together. Okay. Right. So let me close with something I want you to genuinely carry with you, right? So if your marriage is delayed, the universe is not against you, the universe is protecting you. It is making sure that when you finally meet this person, you are ready, that you don't enter a marriage too early and then damage it because you weren't prepared, that you don't settle for someone wrong because you were too anxious to wait for someone right. The delay is preparation, it's protection. It is the universe saying, not yet, but soon. And when it happens, it will be worth than wait. Your chart has a specific timing, and the timing will come when both the inner readiness and the outer planetary conditions aligns together. The door will open. Just trust the process. Okay. Now, if you want me to personally look at your chart and tell your actual marriage timing, your Darakaraka and Upapada Lagna, you can register yourself for consultation on the on my Discord server. Link in the description down below. All right. And if you want to make frequently and watch your horoscope over here, like this person, right? Like birth chart, you can see the birth chart. You can see all the like charts over here. All the yogas which is activated in a chart, all the aruda padas, okay, and special lagnas, like mm, you can see everything over here, okay, like shadbala, ashtak varga, doshas, which are the doshas you have, okay, sade sati is active or not, you can see everything, and the dashas and the transit, okay, and you can also get today's summary of what you should do and what you should not do, okay. You can just simply go here and generate kundli, and you can give your birth details, okay. So if this video helped you, like it, share it, and someone else who need to hear this, and subscribe to this channel. Next video is going to be Navamsa chart and what it reveals about your actual soul of your marriage. That one goes very deep, okay. So until then, take care, stay patient, and trust the timing of your life, okay. Jai Shri Ram.